I found stairs in the middle of nowhere. I shouldn't have climbed them. Written by Insomniac writer. Hello everyone, my name is Luke and I'm posting this to hopefully get some help, or at least some knowledge about what's happening or how I should deal with this nightmare. It all began a few days ago when I was taking a stroll through the woods behind my house. No, I don't live in the middle of nowhere like a Neanderthal, but in a small, quiet neighborhood just outside the big city. The woods are also pretty safe, as the area I live in has more insects than mammals. I don't usually take these strolls, as forests have creeped me out ever since I was little, but sometimes I need to clear my head. This was one of those days. After having the most boring and tiring night shift, I slept until early noon, and I only woke up because my phone made a ping noise, letting me know that I had a notification. Having an unfair fight with my eyelids, I barely managed to open them enough to read the text. It was from my girlfriend. The text, more like a whole paragraph, basically said that she needed some time to herself and that we should take a break. Of course, she added the classic, "It's not you, it's me." But I knew what this meant. Most likely, a breakup. I texted her back, supporting her, even though my heart ached as the heavy flow of memories of us hit me like a truck. I got out of bed, my mood killing the need for sleep, and ate some leftovers from yesterday. I was trying to keep myself occupied so as not to think about the only person in the world that kept me sane, now breaking up with me. Then I remembered the woods behind my house and the trail that led into the forest. Against my better judgment, I decided to take a stroll through the woods to clear my head and let nature calm me down. I put on a pair of black jeans, a white t-shirt, and a black zip-up hoodie and my beat-up Air Force Ones before leaving the house and heading towards the trail. I started down the trail. I was pretty familiar with the forest as I've taken a few more walks beforehand, so I wasn't worried about getting lost. The weather was clear as the bright yellow bulb shined its blinding light through the sea-like sky. It was unusually hot for autumn. The leaves were starting to fall, seeing them in their different decaying stages, some green, freshly fallen, others brown or yellow, forming the colorful, crunchy carpet that I was walking on. Adding to this, the fresh air and the slight breeze hitting my skin was refreshing. The birds were chirping while sitting on different branches. I even saw a squirrel climb into their winter shelter. I checked my watch. 2 p.m. I was getting close to the point of the trail that I usually stopped at before turning around to go back to my house. But this time, I decided to go further. I'll walk until 3 p.m., then I'll turn back, is what I said to myself, not knowing that this single decision would change my life forever. I walked around 15 minutes more before I noticed something strange. The silence. What I mean by that isn't the peacefulness of the forest with its occasional sounds. No, I mean complete and utter silence. There were no birds, no leaves hushing around in the gust of gentle wind. Nothing. I stopped dead in my steps, a cold chill running down my spine. A sudden, uncontrollable panic settled in as I looked around rapidly. My eyes were rapidly dancing on my surroundings before they landed on something. Something that didn't make the situation any better. In the middle of the trees, around 15 feet or so from the trail, were stairs. Yes, what looked like a flight of stairs taken out of an office building were sitting ridiculously in front of me in the middle of the forest. About 10 concrete stairs along with a steel guardrail looking brand new as if they've just been copy-pasted there, went up to, well, nothing. At the top of the stairs was nothing. I checked my watch to look at the time, but instead of the blue digital numbers, there were lines and dots, as if the watch had broken out of nowhere. My panicky state was getting worse. I had to calm down. I had to think rationally, so I did the only reasonable thing at that time. I closed my eyes and took in a deep breath, hoping that when I'd opened them again, everything would be back to normal. I was now the moron of every horror movie. I should have turned 180 degrees and bolted back the way I came. After some seconds went by, I opened my eyes again, calmer and full of hope. But as soon as my vision came back, the flight of stairs did as well. Well, that's not making this better, I mumbled to myself. My mind instinctively rushed to try and make sense of why they were there. An old house, maybe, but it couldn't be. The stairs looked brand new, and the ground around them looked normal, undisturbed. Trying to make sense of the situation didn't help at all. And the sun was beginning to go the other way, signaling that it was going to be afternoon in an hour or so. Before I spun around to leave, something about them made me want to get closer, to analyze them. I don't know how to describe the feeling. Something within me just wanted to get closer. I couldn't resist. As soon as I was next to them, everything felt weird. The air felt heavier. The silence got morbidly worse. I couldn't even hear my own pulse. My panicky state suddenly went away, an unusual calmness overcoming it. I analyzed them like a crazy architect, looking behind them, at their corners. Every bit of surface they had was looked over. If anyone would have been on the trail at that moment, they would have thought that I was insane. Then, out of nowhere, I made the worst decision of my life. I climbed them. As soon as I got to the top, everything went dark. Like the sun exploded and the world transformed into an eternal void. I woke up hours later because when I opened my eyes, the sun was almost set, the moon slowly appearing over the horizon. I was sweaty, sitting on the cold forest floor. The stairs were nowhere to be found. I looked around confused. Did I dream it all? The voice in my head asked me. It couldn't have been a dream. It all seemed too real, and why would I even decide to take a nap just off the trail? Nothing made sense. Nothing would make sense anymore. I got up, dusted myself off, and slowly began to walk back to my house. I got back to town. It was colder now. The lights on the street lamps were shining a bright mustard yellow light, illuminating the sidewalk and a little bit of the street as well. The night sky was just as clear as it was during the day. It was littered with tiny, sparkly stars, though, making it look like a beautiful painted canvas. I got back to my house, and strangely, the lights were on. I muttered to myself, a little confused. I was just about to put the keys into the lock before I saw the handle being pressed. I snapped back and hid behind one of my garden bushes so that I wouldn't be seen. What came out of the house was impossible. It was me. I was walking out of my own house. But I was already outside. My head started to hurt. My mind was spinning. It all didn't make sense. How could there be another me? It couldn't have been possible, but there I was, walking out with a smile on my face, heading for my car after I locked the door. I got a glimpse of my face. It looked the same as mine, but there was something off. I couldn't pinpoint what it was, but something was definitely off about it. My second self got into my car and left. As soon as my second self left, I went into my house with no hesitation. It was still the same as when I had left it, but the atmosphere felt wrong. I looked around, checking if any of my furniture was moved, if anything was missing, but everything was in its place. I even checked if the fire hook next to the fireplace was missing. It wasn't. I looked at the photos of myself and everything started to spin again. I picked up one of the small wooden frames to take a closer look. It was me, smiling next to my dog who had died 7 years ago. The dog was fine, but my smile, it seemed fake. It looked fake. To anyone else, the difference would be impossible to spot. But to me, it was as clear as day. I don't know how long I looked at the photo before I heard the keys clicking in the door. The thing was back. I put the framed photograph back and I went in to hide. As soon as it walked in the house, the air got heavy again, like it did when I went next to the stairs. The footsteps stopped suddenly. The tension was crushing me. I closed my eyes, repeating in my mind that this couldn't be real. Then, I heard it speak. "Come out, Luke. I know you're here." I opened my eyes, frozen in place, my heart pounding out of my chest. How did it know I was here? Did it see me? No, it didn't. I was hidden from the windows and the door. Then it clicked. I had left the door unlocked after my double had locked it. It spoke again. "Are you going to make this easy, or are you going to make me come and get you?" It said with a cold chuckle. I couldn't run. It would spot me, and God knew what I was dealing with. So I did the only thing that I could have in that situation. I slowly forced my body up to face it. "There you are," it said with a creepy smile spreading across its face. I couldn't say anything. How could I? Myself was talking to me, eye to eye. My own world was crumbling upon me. "I know this is weird to you, but you did it yourself, Luke. All because you're a curious moron," it said, its smile now fading away. How? I finally managed to mutter. Out of all the things I could have said, I settled on how. Great. "Are you serious? Don't you remember climbing those stairs?" The thing spoke, keeping an eye on me. So, I wasn't dreaming, I thought, feeling the blood flow through me. I couldn't move. I could barely manage to stay on my feet. I felt dizzy. "Now your past, present, and future are mine," the double said to me, starting to laugh. "And I'll make sure you won't mess anything up," it continued. And before I knew it, I was getting tackled. The thing was on top of me, pinning me to the ground. Its hands now transformed from normal human hands into sharp, hairy claws. Its eyes went from looking like my emerald green color to a crazed red, like the creature hadn't slept in days. Its nose now looked more like it belonged to a dog or a deer. The body began to twitch unnaturally all the time while worms were crawling in its dark hair. Some even got on my face, making me yelp instinctively. I also found out why the air was so heavy around it. The stench oozing from its body almost made me throw up. It smelled like rotten corpses, like death. Before I knew it, What I can only guess were my primal instincts kicked in, fueled by adrenaline and panic. I grabbed the creature by the neck and it laughed. "Do you think you can choke me out, Luke? You're dead." It grinned, its teeth now yellow with 2 sharp fangs at the edges of its mouth. My hands came down and I tried to punch the thing away, but I couldn't reach it. It started choking me. I looked around for a smidget of hope, knowing that my life was about to end. I saw that we were close to the fireplace, and I also saw the fire hook. It looked reachable. The thing was too busy trying to kill me to see that I was trying to get my only hope. I was about to give up before my fingers touched it. I was feeling the claws starting to get under my skin as the thing started to choke me harder. I finally gripped the hook and I hit it with all the power I had left straight in the head. The creature shrieked as it stumbled back. In my rush of adrenaline, I got up, taking deep breaths as I felt blood dripping from my neck while air flowed through my body again. As fast as the thing stumbled back, it charged again. But this time, it didn't manage to get me, as I pointed the sharp end of the hook at it, impaling it in its arm. The creature fell to the ground, dropping my car keys from its pocket. I saw them and made a run for it. I took the keys and I rushed out of my house. I shakily but quickly unlocked my car. I got in and started the car and backed out of my driveway. Then I floored it down the road. Behind me, I heard something grab the trunk just before I managed to get away. It was the creature, but it didn't manage to fully grab it, so the thing lost its grip. I got away. I kept driving and I didn't stop until I was out of town. I'm now stopped at a hotel, but I'm planning to get on the road again. I don't know what I should do. I'm still shaken and terrified for my life, for my existence. I tried calling my friends, my family, but all of them thought that I was joking. I even tried 911, but they didn't believe me either. They said that prank calling the emergency line can be a finable offense and to not do it again. Nobody believed me. That's another reason why I came here. To hopefully find someone who understands what is happening and maybe help me. If no one has experienced this, all I can tell you, no matter how tempted you are, never approach stairs you see in the middle of the woods or anywhere they aren't supposed to be.